Let's all go to Cargonia, land of stolen pains. Obey the quartermaster, unless he is a link. Cargo takes out the station, find more stuff to take. But the boss is never satisfied until the station breaks.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I present the Umlaut Motors model S.V.G. Super Very Good Turbo Mark I. It's a city car made for racing around the streets, street racing, and your child's first car market. It was manufactured in 1983. It features a manual transmission, sporty styling, and a 24 cubic inch boxer flat 4 engine producing an astounding 36.4 horsepower. Let's see what Tom thinks.
Hello, this is Tom Tombadil of the Black Pants Legion, and this is the Umlaut S.V.G. Turbo. Now, it's said that the S.V.G. stands for Super Very Good. But from what I've been told, this has a 4-cylinder boxer engine making 36 horsepower. Yeah, I can see why that tiny thing only makes 36 horsepower. There's a bit of a theme going on with the cars that I'm reviewing. Very tiny engines and decent suspensions. This one also has double wishbone suspension in the front and the rear. And it looks like it might have all-wheel drive. I'm not sure. And this car is called the S.V.G. Turbo, but I don't think it actually has a turbo. Anyway, let's get on with our first test, the highway test. Now, this is a map in BMG called Mount Glorious. I thought it was a cool road to drive on. So, yeah. Let's get this started. Already the engine sounds pretty good. So, yeah, let's do this. Now, the styling on this thing is absolutely ridiculous. And it's not very fast. I mean, if I wasn't going downhill, I think this would be struggling. But you got extremely offset rims with extremely loud fender flares, an extremely loud wing. I don't know what the designers of this car were doing when they thought up of this car. You know, maybe the designs were 12-year-olds, because that's just about the only thing that I could imagine would make this car is a 12-year-old. Alright, the brakes are pretty good. Although they don't have to be the best to slow down this tiny car with 36 horsepower. I mean, it does highway speeds. It's not a bad car. This, oh, we hit the wall. Hopefully I didn't ruin anything, but it was just a tiny hit. So far I'm liking the Umlaut. It's a little underpowered, but that just makes it easier to drive if I'm being honest. Okay, that's a little messed up in the alignment now. I'm gonna go ahead and respawn real quick. Alright, there we go. Yeah, here we have a hill. It's not liking the hill very much. Definitely not a highway cruiser. Yeah, when I think of a highway cruiser, I think of a big V8 rear wheel drive and a suspension that feels like you're driving on clouds. The suspension here is a little more forgiving than one of the other cars that I tested, but it's not exactly a comfort ride. Alright, that will conclude the highway test of this. So let's get it onto a track. Alright, so we're out here at the automation test track to see how well this will do around the track. So it's got extremely wide tires, which is normally a good thing, but on a car this small, I think it's just gonna induce a little bit of understeer, which is when your car does not want to turn into a corner. But we'll see how it does. So let's get this party started. Oh, oh. You know, I don't know if I'm actually gonna have to use the brakes around this test track. Maybe like a little bit in some sections. And this is going so slow, I think I'm only gonna do one lap of this. Alright, we're reaching the top of second gear. I'm gonna rev it all the way because that's just the way I operate. Yeah, I think with a little more power, this would be a fun car. A fun car to take around this track. But right now, I think it's too easy, to be honest. Around Carol's Carousel, or whatever that sign said. Yeah, we didn't need any banking on that corner. I think we could have made it flat just alright. Oh, we're getting into third gear now. And we got a hill. A hill to help us. It's not often I get to drive around a racetrack and enjoy the scenery as much as I can right now. So apparently this car was marketed out towards single mothers to get their children a first car. And I can only really see that appealing to young boys that aren't old enough to drive yet. Because once they hit like 16, you know, they know better. They know better than to go out and draw silly cars like this. But like to a 12-year-old, you know, if they were driving, you know, go for it, you know? Oh, we're gonna have to use the brakes for this one. Okay, no anti-lock brakes, but I don't think you really need them in this thing. Yeah, I think if this engine was in a scooter, it'd be pretty good. But it's not. It's in a car. I mean, I guess one thing, you know, I haven't crashed it yet. Because of these extremely wide tires, which they're doing alright. I don't know how they do in snow, so there's another thing to think about. Oh, big hill. we're gonna lose some speed. Alright, there we have it, the performance test. You know, it didn't really perform. So, let's get on to the daily drivability. Alright, so we're back here in Chinatown. See how this baby does. On the streets. Originally, this car was created for street racing. But unless you're, you know, street racing other cars like this, or like a moped, or a man on a bicycle, I don't think you'd win at all. I mean, like, Geo Metros are faster than this. And I don't know if you know what a Geo Metro is, but they're not that great. I mean, personally, I've never driven one, but yeah. Those are some poor numbers. Alright, so we're going up a hill here. This is a particularly bad hill, but in first gear it looks like we can just limp our way up here. Which is good enough. Daily drivability might be actually a pretty good score for this. Although it was only offered in a manual, I hear. And not many people know how to drive a manual. As you know, 95% of people drive automatic transmissions. And most people aren't even aware that manual transmissions are a thing. They're like, shifting your own gears, you mean pressing the pedal on the back of my steering wheel? No. No, not like that. I mean, there's a stick, and you put it into the gear you want, and there's a third pedal, and you have to have 3 legs to drive one. Oh, another hill. This thing's like a lawnmower going up hills, man. I don't know about it. But I guess it makes it. The tiny 4-cylinder, doing the best it can. I mean, to tell the truth, you know what? No. I would not daily drive this car. Not personally. Especially in a place as hilly as this. You get ran over. I mean, I'm struggling to do the speed limit here. Yeah, I think with a little more power, like if Zippy came out with the turbo model of this engine that made, 60 horsepower, then we'd be talking. But until then, we'll just have to wait. So let's get on to our final test. The crash test. Alright, so we're back here in the crash test hall with horrendous lighting. But I think that's alright. I might switch it up later to like a different crash test area. But for now I think this'll do. Alright, let's line her up at our ramp. Alright, we're all lined up. And I've been instructed to put this into slow motion at the crash. So, yeah, let's do this. Let's crash this thing. Oh, no one likes crashing cars, man. Not even me. Alright, let's slow her down. I might have slowed down a little bit too early. We'll get there. It's a process. Oh, the suspense is killing me. What will happen to this poor little car once it hits the wall? Well, alright. Looks like it doesn't get too terribly fast enough to, you know, kill the driver, as I'm sure they wanted it to, with this horrible styling. But, I think we can do better than this. Alright, so I realize for pretty much all of this video I've been calling this car the Zippy. This is actually the Umlaut S.V.G. Yeah. So let's get down into our scores. So for the highway score, I guess it gets up to highway speeds. Maybe not like freeway 75 mph speeds. It might get there eventually downhill, but I don't think that'll ever happen. So I'm gonna have to give this car a 3 out of 10. For performance, it wasn't that great. It doesn't go very fast, but the over-the-top styling and the wide tires give it something, so it gets a 2 out of 10. Daily drivability. This is going to be pretty good, I think. If you're just taking this around town, it's a great little car to drive to work. Probably gets good gas mileage too, like because it has a motorcycle engine. So, yeah. So I'm gonna go ahead and give this a 7 out of 10 for daily drivability. And for the crash test, well, if you're ever gonna be going fast enough to really hurt yourself going downhill in this thing, and it goes downhill fast, well, this one's gonna earn a 3 out of 10. Because you won't ever get fast enough to kill yourself. Unless a semi T-bones you, then you're 100% dead. I think in the S.V.G turbo model they should add ejecto seats that eject you out when a semi is about to crash into you, or else you will die. But for now it's a 3 out of 10 until it gets ejector seats, then it'll be a 10 out of 10. And that will give this car, let me do some math real quick, 10, 17 points out of 40. I think it'll be a great car in 20 years, but for right now, it's not looking good. Give us the turbo model. Thank you.